Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our first trig ratio. It's called a tangent. So this is section 13.4. Don't forget to fill in today's date. Start with the definition for you. The definition of a tangent ratio. I'm going to look at angle A right here. So we're going to compare the sides to that angle. So the tangent is going to be opposite leg over adjacent leg. Alright, so when we're looking at that, we're going to look at that. I like to draw an arrow across to find the leg opposite. So this is the leg opposite angle A over the leg adjacent to angle A. Okay. Remember, we're not going to use the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always across from the right angle here. Okay. Moving down here, we're going to go into some examples. I've got some steps for you. We're going to label our triangle first. So we're looking at QR here, so I'm going to go with 55. So I've got my opposite leg. This is my hypotenuse, and here is my adjacent leg. So now we're going to set up the ratio. So the tangent of P is equal to opposite over adjacent. Sorry, it's not working very well here. Opposite over adjacent. So we're going to fill in what we have. So tangent of 55 degrees equals the opposite, which I'm going to call x, over the adjacent, which is 20. Now we're going to let our calculator do some work. On your calculator above the 9 button, you've got a tangent button. So we're going to hit tangent 55. You get 1.428 equals x over 20. Now we're going to solve for x. I'm going to multiply both sides by 20. So I know that x is equal to 20 times 1.428, or 28.6. And that's going to be our QR. Okay, do some examples here for you. I'm going to just write up here that tangent is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So we have a reminder. Label my triangle here. So here's my hypotenuse. Here's the angle that I'm looking at. So this is my opposite, and G then makes my adjacent here. So I'm going to set up my equation. So tangent of 36 equals the opposite, which is 23, over the adjacent, which I'm going to call G. So first step here is I'm going to multiply both sides by G to get that G out of the denominator. So I've got G times tangent of 36 equals 23. Let your calculator do some of the work here for you. So the tangent of 36 is equal to 0.7265. So G times 0.7265 is equal to 23. Solving for G then, I'm going to divide both sides by 0.7265 so I've got G is equal to 31.66. That was setting up the ratio, opposite over adjacent, and then working algebra, using our algebra to solve. Alright. Next example here, we're going to solve for angle A right here. So I'm going to draw my line across, so I know this is my opposite. Here's my hypotenuse, left over with the adjacent. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my ratio. I'm going to say tangent of angle A equals opposite, which is 22, over the adjacent, which is 47. So I'm going to now tangent of A equals, on your calculator, 22 divided by 24. Actually, we're going to leave it like this. We're going to do tangent inverse, which is -1 of A. And then we're going to, let me see, on your calculators, in order to figure this out, we're going to sort of work backwards. We're going to hit tangent -1. Instead of putting in the decimal, we're going to take 22 divided by 47 and put it in parentheses here, if I can write. Sorry about that. So we're going to say tangent of A equals 22 over 47. So now we're going to do tangent -1, and in parentheses we're going to do 22 over 47. Okay? Let your calculator do the work. That's that second tangent is what you're going to hit. So we're getting the A is equal to 22.6 degrees. So we're sort of working that one backwards there. Okay, last example here then today. Next page. Oh, I guess 2 more examples here. We're going to use the ratio in a real-life example. A ranger is standing 100 feet from a tree and sights the top of the tree at 40 degrees above for the angle of elevation. What's the height of the tree? So I'm going to label this as X here. Oh, it's really hard to see. So this is going to be my X. So here's my angle. That's going to be my opposite. Here's my adjacent. Here's my hypotenuse. So we're going to use tangent. I'm also going to note that this part of the tree is 5 feet tall, since we're just finding that height of that triangle there. So tangent of 40 degrees equals my opposite, which is X, over my adjacent, which is 100. On a calculator here, or we're going to let the calculator do the work, we're going to multiply both sides by 100. So in your calculator, you're going to type in 100 tangent 40 equals X. Well, not equals the X part, but this first part you're going to type in your calculator, and you get an answer of 83.9 is equal to that X, which is that AC value. We're going to add 5 feet to that, so my tree is 88.9 feet tall. So we added that 5 feet because he was 5 feet tall, or he was sighting it from. Alright, last example here. Looks like we're trying to find an angle again, so we are going to use that inverse button again. So here is my angle. I've got an opposite, which is over here. Here's my adjacent. Here's my hypotenuse. So we're going to say tangent. Well, let's read this. An airplane is 760 feet above the ground and horizontally 5,000 feet from the landing strip. So here's the landing strip over here. And we are going to figure out what angle it must descend to meet the landing strip. So we're going to say tangent of X equals that opposite, 760, over my adjacent, which is 5,000. This is where we're going to use the inverse. So we're going to say tangent of -1 of 760 divided by 5,000. That's going to give us our X value. Really what we're doing here is taking the inverse of this side and the inverse of this side. That's kind of what's happening here. And on your calculator, when you do that, you get X is equal to 8.64 degrees. Alright, so you're going to be using your tangent button on your calculator either to find what tangent of an angle equals, or to work backwards to find the angle degrees. Here's your practice then for this section. Right down here. If you have any questions about that calculator use, please let one of us know.